Austin? I know he wasn't out there today. Like, what can you say about Legend Bay?
Yeah, he won't practice the first couple of days. A little violation of team rules, so he's learning, but he'll be back on the field soon.
We'll go to Stefan on the right.
Obviously, you got a lot of freshmen that are stepping in. Rock and Chris, they had good springs. What did you kind of see from them this summer and as they kind of progress into their preseason camp here?
Well, I mean, everybody's playing now. The whole redshirt idea doesn't really exist moving forward. So, first off, everybody in the program should have the idea that they're fighting for positions, fighting for playing time, want to get on the field. I think those guys in particular are really fighting hard. I think they can see it. We saw enough in them in the spring to lead us to believe that they can help us this year. The question is how early and how much, and that's what preseason is going to be about.
Bill on the right.
Ryan, what led to opening camp with Austin at right guard?
Yeah, we're going to try a couple different combinations. Today we did two spots, so sort of just scarlet and gray, not really ones and twos. We are going to look at him playing tackle as you saw last year. Also look at him playing guard, and I think when you look at Josh Padilla, when you look at Ian Moore, when you look at Phil Daniels, finding the best five is what we're going to do. But part of that five is knowing that Austin can play both guard and tackle. So. He spent a lot of time at tackle here most recently, so we thought we wanted to get him some guard reps, see how we felt in there, see how we looked. It's been a little while, so but we'll see how it goes, and it's going to be really good competition. Good news is we have some different options, but we're going to find the best five.
Cameron on the right.
Ryan, if that talk last offseason about like yards after the catch, how does having so many different receivers maybe come out play in the press today lead to that, and how does that help kind of narrow how you rotation?
Look, how do you identify it in practice? Yeah, it's when you're not tackling, it's hard. When you're not thudding, like today, it was just a helmets practice. It's even harder. It's a huge emphasis. We spent a lot of time on it. Cortez has spent a lot of time on it. Has some very strong thoughts on it. So we got to work it every day in practice, the drills, and then see it carry over to the teamwork. But once we get the pads on, we'll have a better idea. And certainly when we start tackling, we'll have hopefully we'll see those drills translate to production.
Austin on the left.
Ryan, what has Isaiah done to put himself in position to maybe compete for that top job at that?
Yeah, well, first off, you can see his body. You can see the work he's put in. Had a tremendous offseason. One of the best in the whole building. Consistency. And when he was in there last year, he showed some real good things. So we want him to take the next step, just as we do Bo. But just Isaiah 1 year in the program. By the way, when you have the injury like he had, sometimes it takes a year or two to get back into it. We're seeing him look the best physically he's looked, and so that's exciting. But again, same thing, just day one.
Spencer on the right.
Ryan, what did you see from Devin this spring, summer, now today that makes you think that he can hit the ground running? UTSA and Ohio State's a big jump, but it seems like he's adapting pretty well.
No, it is, and the same thing I tell a lot of the guys, like you want to have credibility here, you want to win. One, you play special teams. Two, you attach yourself to Nick in the weight room. He's had a great off season. You can see his body's changed. He's earned a lot of respect. Got recognized for that. With what he did this summer. So now he's got to go put it on the field. I thought he was consistent in the spring, but now he's got to take a huge step here, because that position, as we know, is going to be critical. And we saw what happened last year. We saw obviously the attention that Jeremiah is going to get and Brandon's going to get. So that position is really going to be an important part of our offense. And Devin certainly has put himself in a position to be that guy. But now he's got to compete for it and win the job.
Doug on the right.
Ryan, it seemed like Dominic Kelly was with the ones a decent amount of the time at outside corner. Is Jermaine limited at all, or is that just a competition?
Yeah, we're just rolling guys right now. But we want to. It is a competition, and we want guys to compete. And a lot of guys have earned the right to do that. So now's the time we're going to be rolling these guys, and then these reps accumulate. We evaluate the reps and see where it goes. And we've seen certain competitions be over in a week. We've seen competitions last all the way up until game week. But we need to find what that combination is going to be there. And do we feel like we have two corners that we can just play all the time? Do we feel like there's three that we can rotate? How does that play into the nickel position? Those are all parts of what we need to solve here in the next couple of weeks.
Three more. Rob in the center.
Yeah, Ryan, what do you do with the kicking game this week? I mean, do you still try to get like a corner's head? I mean, are you still trying, when does that begin? What's it look like this week?
Well, first off, the kicking game in general, special teams are a huge part of what we do, and just our foundation of how we teach fundamental football. So everybody's involved with those meetings. The kicking game in particular, with the battery, Dalton is new, but he's really getting a good feel with Joey. So in the punting game, their snap to kick operation, I think Joey's taking a next step, but we got to build depth there as well. So that's been good, and then getting a feel for Dalton as a long snapper, what he can do. But then in the field goal kicking game, to your point, every single snap matters. I mean, we're chasing small margins, so we'll quickly get into situations here, and that's everybody, so that everybody can feel how important that is. It's one thing to go out and kick 7 field goals, and then at the end say, all right, this one counts, type of thing. And we all got to run 10 laps or do 25 up downs if he misses it, but he's already kicked 7 in a row. It's not realistic. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to create situations like put a certain time on the clock, the ball's around midfield, okay, we're going to play this out, offense needs a field goal, and then put him in that situation where he doesn't have a bunch of field goals to run. It's like being at the driving range. You don't get to go to the driving range, when you're on the back 9. So that's what we'll try to do, and see how he responds to the different environments. We'll look to see, how the wind, the weather. Hopefully, we get different variations of that during the preseason to get a feel for his range and how he can handle it.
Bill in the center.
Nothing's under the radar for you, but are there things that maybe are competition, position group, or something that's kind of under the radar generally that you're particularly interested in seeing how that unfolds in the first week or so?
Well, I think we all want to see how the offensive line shakes out here. That's for sure. I think the tight end room is an interesting room. I think that we do have some depth there, but who's actually going to take the majority of those reps and be guys we can count on? That 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th wide receiver position. I think the running back position is very unique, and we have in the room, we have some talent, we have a little bit of experience, but if we're going to get to where we need to go, when we've made major runs here, our running backs have run really well here. You look what Zeke did, obviously you look what Travion did, you look what Quinshawn did. Like in those games, I mean, they take over, and that's what we're going to need out of that room. So offensively, I would say those are the things we're looking at. Also, backup quarterback position, critical. Certainly, we're all going to talk about Julian, but we need to have depth in that room as well. So those guys got to step up. And then on defense, how the back end shakes out in terms of depth there, and then seeing how it all comes together up front are all the things we're looking at.
We'll finish with Tim A.
Yeah, right. Generally, y'all get to work with these guys a little bit during the summer and stuff. Does this just feel like a continuation of that, or was something different? Was there more of a kick in your step this morning, etc., starting actual formal camp? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it definitely is different than it used to be. I remember, back when I played, you showed up with your Bucs fan and you met your roommate for the first time, and camp started the next day. It's like either you show up, well, you had a conditioning test before. You used to have conditioning test. You either made conditioning test or you came back every morning to you made conditioning test. It's just nothing like that anymore. It's just such a lead up with the workouts and everything that we do. But anytime you put the helmets on, anytime you start going against each other, it's completely different. And we get a chance yesterday to get together, talk about our goals, talk about the vision for the team, talk about our identity, talk about where we want to go. It kind of gives us a focus on football. I think physically we look as good as we have. I think we have the talent, but now we got to go play.
And have you told Tavian things have to get accelerated? I'm talking about Tavian St. Clair, the backup quarterback situation, like you were just talking about and stuff.
Yeah, I tell everybody they got to get accelerated. Coaches, players, everybody in the building, and him included.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.